And welcome back to this week's edition of Two Coaches, One Grizz. We're back after a couple-week hiatus, a couple personal family situations, some vacations, but we're back in full force. And unfortunately, right, since we were gone, we had a lot
of things have happened.
A lot of things have happened, but that's all right. We're going to cover it all today. I am your host, Frank Morales, with our Coach Emeritus, Gil Laura, and our resident superfan, Mario the Grizz Mesa. And we cannot forget our esteemed producer, AC Anthony Carabata. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Phenomenal. Glad to be here. Thankful. It's the summer. So, yes, schedules can get a little touchy here and there.
Especially when you have a personal
certain
travel
things
planner.
happen. Oh, yeah. When you have a personal travel planner, it's always better, and it works out good.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I did not mention our MC's birthday yesterday, celebrating 47 years. Oh, no, sorry.
Wow. Wow.
But I didn't want to throw that out there.
It's all right.
A little happy birthday, a little belated happy birthday.
Appreciate you.
And just, like I said, thankful to be here and for everything that the Lord has blessed me with, championships and all. Grizz?
Talk to me.
First and foremost, we wish our main man happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That was a low blow by our coach, but, expected.
35 years young. Thank you very much.
I will say I'm doing great as well. Couple weeks off, sucks we weren't able to talk about a few things, but it's okay because we came back just in time to celebrate a championship from a team that not only deserved it, fought for it, could have been on the wrong side of history had that ending not have been that way, but
they ruined my prediction. That's the only thing I'm upset about. So close.
Sometimes, you're close and you can't catch it. I was also close on the other finals, but it didn't happen. But here we are, celebrate the last of the major four sports in South Florida to win a title. So who's on deck? It says the Dolphins is next, so I'm not going to talk anymore. We'll pass that back to the birthday boy before I let that one.
Yeah, so we've already covered it, right? We alluded to it. We've had two finals outcomes since our last episode. NBA championship, Boston Celtics, right? They, relatively easy outcome over the Dallas Mavericks.
I would say probably the easiest finals champion route ever.
Yeah, so let's break this down, right? In every round of this year's Eastern Conference playoffs, right? It seemed like the Boston Celtics went against a short man squad. Right, their top player, right, on the opposing team went down, and it was a relatively easy road, right? Whereas,
but they don't dictate that. I mean, I don't want
your path is your path.
There's no asterisk.
No.
There's none of that stuff. They beat whoever was in front of them. They had a great season all year. They were the best team in the NBA, hands down.
Oh, they were the best team by like 10 games.
So again, whether one guy got hurt, the other guy.
However,
they beat whoever was in front of them.
Easiest road ever.
Whatever.
Easiest road ever. You have like Frank said, each team had someone go down, which doesn't matter. We talk about it countlessly here.
Well, the Mavericks didn't have anybody
to go down, but you could just tell.
And they dominated them.
Out of gas. Luka was out of gas, and plus he was exposed for his defense or lack thereof. Kyrie still can't shake off the ghosts of his Boston tenure.
Let me tell you that. Now that was the one.
And then I just come to see, as much as I thought, wow, this could be a great matchup, Dallas didn't have anybody else. Like their third guy, PJ Washington? Like that was, when you go back to years back in NBA finals, like there's a lot better teams with a third man. This team had no one.
No, they had played well
Denver
to that.
Or Minnesota would have been a better matchup.
Of course. Again, they ended up playing a team that had played much better in the series before.
4 rounds of easy.
And the series before that. Again, man, whatever. I give them their dues. They earned it.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
They got to the mountaintop. They did what they had to do.
Right.
But whatever it is. You can't.
But just like their finals run, short and sweet. Let's get back to the real champions.
I do want to say one thing, right? Like based off of this championship, like they should be there, right, for the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, they should. They're gonna pay 2 guys over $300 million. Hopefully, the rest of their team is stable. But I will give them. Brad Stevens, I think, found his niche as a GM.
He's done a great job.
Great job.
Great job.
So I give him that. And
I'll be honest with you, and looking into Joe Mazzulla, I think Mazzulla has also really done a good job to overcome certain parts. Tatum, I think Tatum is a high maintenance guy. I think he's done a good job with him. And Brown, again, listen, I thought Brown did an amazing job as a leader.
Best player on the floor.
To me, he really showed me when they were mic'd up and stuff like that he is really the leader of that.
Right.
They can talk about Tatum all they want.
Cool, though? A guy that actually got paid and a lot of money and then showed up. Instead of you get that money and then you're like, did we get the right guy?
Yeah.
Because Tatum's up now for the 300. And luckily, he got saved, I think, by Brown that he's going to be earning that money.
And he plays on both sides of the court.
He plays on both sides.
Defense, good offense. I'm just saying, Brown plays defense. Offense. He's like, I was impressed with him.
They have a lot of good pieces,
they're
obviously.
the deepest team in the league. That's the biggest part of it, right?
I still think Denver and them would be an interesting matchup.
I mean, they're 10 deep on their bench. Like, you know,
I'm
and
saying Denver
even the old
deep.
man Horford put up some nice numbers.
You can see him. He's probably ready to retire.
No, he's done. I mean, listen, you can put a
17
fork.
He's probably going to get out of there
as a champion. He should.
And once again, eventually, people leave the team. The pieces, some other guys want some more time. Someone's going to get paid. Drew Holiday, I think, was a phenomenal pickup.
Yes.
Phenomenal pickup. So we'll see if they keep it going because we are in a new NBA where these dynasties aren't happening anymore. It's every year it's a new team. So we'll see.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna move on, right?
Yeah, we're gonna move on. We won a championship in South Florida, guys.
We're gonna segue from the hard court to the ice.
We kind of threw out the script
to a harder court.
Let's go.
Because, you know, the Grizz came in here like, listen, I don't care about anything else. We're talking about Panthers.
Hello.
So, Grizz, by all means.
Guys, I mean, look at what they did. You go first round, you defeat your nemesis, the team that has been the thorn, the other best team in hockey, apparently, Tampa Bay Lightning. Then your next round is the Boston Bruins.
Who you own.
And they hate us so much because last year we screwed their little party. And they tried to do that to us, and we said, no.
It's Miami and Boston, bro.
Exactly.
It's Miami and Boston.
Then you go up against the New York Rangers, President's Cup winners, best team in hockey points-wise. Also another city that has some history with South Florida. You take care of that business. Then you play probably, some would say, a little overrated from what I've heard in the streets, but I think he's the best thing since Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Mr. McDavid.
McDavid is a prolific scorer.
He deserved getting the Conn Smythe.
Prolific scorer. I mean, he's on fire.
And to defeat that team, not the way we wanted it, as Skill said.
Too much sweating, man. Too much sweating.
3-0. But I knew that 3-0 was an illusion.
You know what bothered me? I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I'm going to say from the third period on of that third game and going into the fourth and giving up 8 goals, those 11 goals scared the living crap out of me.
Of course.
I was like, bro, we've given up 11 goals in a game and a quarter.
Yeah.
Okay? And a period.
A third
period. I'm saying a period and a game. So I was like, holy crap, we are in it now.
I think there was a time it was 14 out of 15 were all their goals.
And then game 5 comes around, and again, boom.
We
give up another 5 goals. It was 2 goals in the first period. Right. I was like, oh, we are now in deep trouble here. We've got and I said it over and over again to some of the people at work. We needed to score first.
Yes,
that was my key. My key was if you score first and are physical, we can win this. We just got to score first to get our psyche back.
And let me tell you, absolutely. I think everybody can agree they needed to score first in this game to feel. And remember,
to get the monkey off their back. They scored right back.
But it was different.
Yes, it was. It was. You could feel that it was a different
You felt
feeling.
different because they scored quickly, but they tied us.
Yes.
We didn't have to come back.
Correct.
And not that we couldn't, because remember, we are the best third period team in the league. We have the most comeback wins. But in this series right now, that is the monkey wrench.
The mental game.
The last 3 games have been owned by the team that scores first.
Correct.
And we don't need that. So you score first, that comes back.
They were playing physical. They were hitting them. They were playing really well.
They went back to what they've been all year.
And Bobrovsky needed that day off.
And Bob got what he deserved.
A day off. And then he got his head right.
He got his head right. He deserved to have his, because let me tell you, the defense was playing sloppy. A lot of those goals were not on him.
No, it was a turnover. We kept turning the ball. The puck over on the red line.
Remember, our best hockey was 5-on-5. We were on power play, and it was a disadvantage.
Horrible.
Terrible power play.
We got 5 goals on power play.
So I think Bob, PK Subban named it the sour play for the Panthers.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
It was bad. So all that put together, and to go do the 3-0, you give up 3-3, then you win Game 7. We just talked about, I think it's the easiest path for the Celtics. This is probably one of the toughest paths. One, because it's the toughest thing to win in sports is the Stanley Cup. And the way they did it, the I don't know, man, the tenacity, the fact that this has been a laughing stock of a franchise.
I wouldn't say that. I don't agree with that. We've been no. That's not true.
Absolutely.
No.
I don't even need to debate this public.
No way.
The last 2-3 years we've been good. No. Everything else.
That's not true.
We've never made the playoffs.
What are you talking about?
Absolutely.
That's not true.
Yes.
No, we
did. The finals of the Colorado.
We made.
That's it.
But
that was a blip. That was a glitch.
No, but we've been
Nope.
We've been a competitive friend. Now, did we go through some doldrums? Yes.
The team but don't forget, we had the team that every year, we're 4 points away from the playoffs.
Listen. I've been a fan of this team for 20-something years.
Correct.
Okay?
And they've been a laughing stock for 23.
That's not true. Van Beesbrook played well. We had Pavel Bure. We had a bunch of guys that went through. We went to the playoffs. We went to a Stanley Cup. I got more people that agree with me on this one. Oh, yeah. You can have whatever you want.
I'm saying.
I don't care.
I know.
This is one franchise that I do know back and forth.
I know.
Okay?
I'm just saying they're still a laughing stock.
No. They're not a laughing stock.
Absolutely.
Listen, the Winnipeg Jets are a laughing stock that don't even exist anymore.
No,
these guys have competed.
They exist again.
These guys have competed.
They were in the playoffs.
Okay, again, these guys have competed
for 2 years, 3 years, maybe.
No,
that's it.
That's
I can look up all the records right now and show you.
We can look it all up.
All the records.
We can look them all
just
up.
Horrible.
Did we have a 10-year run?
Terrible.
Yes, I get it.
No, 15,
just like the
16,
Dolphins.
17
just like the Dolphins had a 10-year run.
But in hockey, we were the laughing stock. We hadn't made the playoffs. The longest of all the hockey teams.
It had been 8 or 10 years. I get it. I understand that.
Everybody makes the playoffs.
But we made it coming out the first 7 years.
We did it 1 year.
Okay, but we did it in the first 7 years.
It was an anomaly. It was an anomaly. Pablo, making it that 1 year was an anomaly.
Listen, I'm going to go. Go ahead.
The last 3 years have been amazing. Before that, you had a blip.
The last two, because we
I don't need to say
so to bring some levity to the situation, right? That's
what makes it amazing.
I see it right from the lens of the sport that I know the best, which is football, right? It was kind of that classic offense versus defense, like best offense versus best defense. And it again, same situation that you encounter on the football field. How do you nullify good defense, right? By spacing them out and playing fast, right? And I think that kind of shock and awe situation that Edmonton was trying to, was able to pull off in those 3 games, right? Put them on their heels. And as defensively, right? Again, back to the football analogy, you need to lean on your physicality, right? And what you know, right? Instead of trying to keep pace with a team that has the offensive prowess that they have, right?
Well, the thing is, they're very fast.
Correct.
If you notice, they have like 4 or 5 of the fastest guys on the ice.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So I mean, they just.
Now, that being said, Connor McDavid is the truth, right? He put himself in a pantheon where there are 3 total hockey players, right? Mount Rushmore, some would say. 4 goals or 4 points in 2 straight games in the Stanley Cup. It's him, Wayne Gretzky, and I believe Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, the guy's bona fide already on the Mount Rushmore.
And, he solidified his greatness with the Conn Smythe. Again, it's a conciliatory prize. He didn't even go and accept it, which I would have done the same thing. I would have already been in the shower at that point. He's going to have other chances, I believe, right? A team, if they keep that team together, a team with that type of offensive talent, right? They're going to break through. That being said, right? Yeah, the Panthers did lose their identity there for 3 games, trying to keep up with them, right? Speed-wise and pace-wise.
I don't think that they tried to keep up with them. I think, again, we made dumb mistakes at the red line. We turned the puck over on power plays. And
trying to play fast.
I'm not going to say we were playing fast. I can't say fast.
I think they were a little desperate trying to get back because they were losing.
No, but when you're saying fast, no. Okay, before that, if you take a look at the game, okay, when you talk about fast, you have to think about it in fast breaks or running up and down the ice. No, what happened was if you look at the way
skating
up and down the ice, bro, up and down the ice. I said
you said running.
No, I said court ice. Okay, whatever. All right, if you take a look at it, the way they defenses was they were with a 4-man. Okay, their top guy would come out very far and split both of our defenders. Okay, our 2 defensemen would be on the offensive side of the ice of the red line to try to pass and go 5-on-4. So they pressed our 2 guys, and we kept trying to pass the puck across the ice, and that's where their guy would intercept it, take it to the house, and be 1-on-1 with Bobrovsky. We did that 4 times. 4 times we made the same stupid pass, which I couldn't understand why we would do that.
Another crazy stat, which in hockey means a lot, right? We're talking about Bob. They are 16-2 when he gives up 3 goals or less. And in hockey, 3 goals is a lot.
Yeah.
3 goals or less, they're 16-2. That is insane. And I think overall they said something like in the last, was it 2 or 3 games? He saved 72 of 75 shots. Mm-hmm. Like 1-on-1 on goal.
No, yeah. And like, that was the thing. Like they had a lot of 1-on-1 breaks. And well, listen, again, I'm happy they won. I think they did a great job. But I've really found a new admiration of Paul Maurice. To me, that guy is one of the baddest coaches of any time, any sport. I mean, he is amazing.
He lost his composure once. And what I mean by that is like his composure, right? His even keel, just baseline. Didn't get too high, didn't get too low, right? That guy was a freaking just a statue the entire time, right? And I think, they brought up another stat with he has the most wins of any head
he had the
coach
most wins without having a
Stanley Cup.
No, he started at 28, young, like second youngest ever when he was, I think, at Hartford. And then, he was the last 30 years.
His first stint was Winnipeg.
It was Winnipeg? I thought it was Hartford.
No, it was Winnipeg.
And like, if you heard
that's why he said that he wishes that they win a Stanley Cup. He said it after because the guy asked him, they talked to him or whatever, and he said that his one wish now is for them to win a Stanley Cup.
Right. Now that he got his out of the way.
Right.
But like the way that he would handle the press conferences was just like, if you know anything about sports, super dope. Just, people would try to
amazing.
zingers and shots at him, and he was just like, like just Teflon Don. And pretty impressive with that.
So, by the way, we've been to the playoffs 10 times.
Wow.
Okay.
The longest stint that we had was 99-2000 to 2011-12.
But it's still.
Other than that, we've gone every 2 or 3 years.
Lost every first round.
That's not true.
2 or 3.
No, we did not. Yeah. The first time we went, we won 12 games. Okay, and we played 22 games.
Here we go.
This year we played 24.
Battle of
Last
the crack
year was 21.
research.
Year before was 10. I get it. We've been swept, but.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I listen, I understand both sides of it, but, if you look at the grand scheme of things, Florida is a relatively young franchise.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
And again, I guess that's my point.
30 years is a young franchise.
You know when Edmonton came into the NHL? 1980.
Okay. Again.
13 years of difference. There were 6 teams in the NHL till 1966. Almost every other team but the original 6 are kind of new. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that during their time, they haven't lived up to the last 3 years. Have been the best 3 years.
Yeah,
There's no argument.
But again,
the rest of them,
I'm not arguing.
That happens in sports,
all
though,
the times
right?
they went to the playoffs, they underachieved.
It takes time to take that next level, and a lot of times that success is very fleeting.
Right. Vegas made it to the Stanley Cup their first year, and they won it a few years later. Tampa Bay,
I think it was like second and third year or something.
No, their first year they went.
But again, listen.
The next year they
No,
won.
they didn't win it the next year. A few years later.
It was 3 years.
Which was last year.
But again, also hockey has changed.
Years.
Hockey has changed as well in the expansion draft.
Completely.
What players
Totally
they get, things like that. So you can't really. It's a little bit of a different.
But I'm saying during the time when there's been the most NHL teams, they just haven't. Even if they made a few,
they
like you
haven't
said,
made,
they just
again,
they underachieved.
I just for me to say laughing stock, that to me is a team.
All the
Cubs
NHL
were
teams,
a laughing stock.
But for NHL in the NHL world, they were a laughing stock. I'm not saying they're in the rest of the.
I'm looking at them as a franchise. I mean,
I'm looking at them as
for you to go to
NHL franchise. They were a laughing stock out of all the other NHL teams.
You go to Stanley Cup in your second or third year, and then go to playoffs every few years.
Doesn't matter.
That doesn't make you a laughing stock.
Yeah, well, someone's got to be a laughing stock,
but
right?
if you're going every few years,
and they were the worst of all.
Now,
the
if you
NHL
tell me for
teams
10 years they were a laughing stock, okay, from 2000
but at some
to
point
2011,
they were a laughing stock. That's all I'm trying to say. It was it wasn't supposed to be this much of a
so to bring this full circle, right? It is kind of funny that Florida, right, a hot weather, no ice on the ground ever state, has two teams that now are Stanley Cup champions because Tampa Bay Lightning won 3 in the last decade.
They've won 3.
And good hockey. I mean,
good hockey, correct.
Hockey.
Now,
the last 5 times an Eastern team, it's all been in Florida.
So
we're rolling the sport.
It's kind of it's pretty ironic. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's a good collection of guys too. I mean, the guys that are on the team also that GM has done a really good job of putting these pieces together. He even got criticized when he made a trade late in the season because they thought, man, they were playing so well. This guy, and it was a great trade. It ended in a Stanley Cup championship.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, like I said, it's now, kind of looking at the big picture here. Where do you think the outlook is for the Florida Panthers? You think
they have
we're
a
here
lot
to
of
stay?
years of this?
No, they're in a good place for the next 3 to 4.
Remember, in hockey, they give you like 10-year contracts.
Right.
People stay for a while. It's like if there's a good team.
No, the nucleus of this team
they're not
isn't going anywhere. The Kachucks, the Verhagans, those guys are not going anywhere. The only thing would be Bobrovsky may have another 2 years just because he's old. I mean, he's a grizzled veteran.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, it's fun, right? You're going to see all of a sudden Florida being a fair weather bandwagon state, right? With a lot of snowbirds and transplants, you're going to see people coming out of the woodworks now, just like they did with other sports. Oh, I've always been a fan. Brother, you've never really talked about this team until they won, right? And again, and it's not a natural sport, right? It's not an endemic sport to the area, which is another situation.
Right.
Now, you'd be damn straight to see now, all of a sudden, leagues starting to spring up, right? In our backyard, the Kendall Ice Arena has always had one. But you're going to see those
because they're more
leagues
popular.
grow.
Also, I also think that with TV and the exposure it's gotten over the last 4 or 5 years, I think also helps. It's the
same trend that we
created.
see.
It's also created an aura of toughness.
Right.
It's like the bastion of toughness now.
And
so I think it's going to grow.
It's following the same trend. Yeah, it's following the same trend that we see with the other regional sport, lacrosse, for example. Right, lacrosse has grown exponentially in the last decade. Again, TV rights. Right, other schools, colleges, bringing it in as a varsity sport. And growing the game, right? It's another sport that was initially and traditionally an East Coast and Northeast game. Now, right, you have it expanded all the way to the West with Colorado College and Denver.
No, and it's also a sport that women play as well.
Correct.
So again, that also has also helped to grow lacrosse.
And I think there is a correlation there.
I
think there is a correlation there because hockey players, right, play hockey in the winter season, right, growing up, and they play lacrosse in the spring. So I think there is definitely a correlation there, and I do expect to see that growth, especially down here, as we move along. But yeah, like the Grizz said, Dolphins are on the clock.
So are the Canes, buddy. So are the Canes.
Well, let's see.
This is Fisher cut bait right now.
We got a couple weeks till we start.
Mario's got to make that, and it's got. I mean, again, and so let's stay on the positive side. We're winning championships on the ice,
and we're gonna leave it right there. We'll be right back with our next segment. No, all right. It's time to talk about now that the last of the major championships are in the rearview mirror, and we're in the full summer swing here. Right, it's going to be a little bit of a dead period when it comes to sports. Right, we can only talk so much baseball, but there is a very interesting development, right, out of the NBA world. The Lakers just signed JJ Redick.
They settled.
Sure, whatever.
They got turned down. They got snubbed.
I don't know if it was a snub because I think they always wanted JJ Redick, but the Dan Hurley the Dan Hurley situation was
a bad take.
If you allow me to finish my take.
Go ahead.
Dan
We're
Hurley
trying to save you.
was the logical decision, but their heart was always saying JJ Redick.
Oh my God! Again,
They had offered him the job first.
Their heart,
Their wallet wasn't in it. Their heart, everything else, but the wallet.
in it for Hurley. Hurley turned them down. Hurley didn't want the job.
I understand
Because
that.
Hurley didn't get the right amount of money. Because he would have left for the right amount of money.
He got $70
He
million.
leaves for over 100, he's gone. Over 100, he's gone.
I don't know, man.
They didn't show him the respect.
Can I tell you why?
That's a disrespect.
Can I tell you why I disagree?
Monty
with
Williams
that?
got more money than him.
I'm going to disagree
Monty
with
Williams
that
has
take.
coached in the NBA and was an
and
NBA player
they
for.
just fired him, and they're going to pay $65 million.
I disagree with that take
Terrible.
just because I think Hurley
It's a different game.
is. It's not because it's a different game. It's just I think that he has the idea of more control in
Right.
college basketball.
The guy's a czar there.
It's better for him than in the NBA. Whereas now you see that college coaches in football are giving up their head jobs to go coach in the NFL. Why? Because the NIL and all that stuff is affecting that
Their ability to recruit and build a program.
Correct. And in college basketball, it's a little different. It's still not
It's
there.
easier to build
Still
a program.
not there. So that's I think
I mean,
that's the
listen,
reason that
100%.
that Hurley.
It also helps that Hurley still has a chance to get a three-peat. Because if he didn't have a team coming back, it might have been a little easier.
Correct.
But listen, in all respects, I agree with that, right? At the college, at the lower level, especially college basketball, you are the puppet master. You are the
You're
orchestrator.
You're the man.
His basketball genius is on full display every single night, right? And
Plus, he doesn't have to argue with LeBron.
he's not.
He won't have to. He
Not
won't
only
have to.
that, right now,
in
the
all timeout.
biggest stars in college basketball are the coaches.
Right.
Because there's no stars right now in
And-
college basketball for the players.
But
That's why Francis is overtaking. the draft.
just on a general level, right? You are a developer of talent, a builder of a program. You can construct the team and have direct impact on the course of the team that you're coaching. Whereas in the NBA and all professional sports, when you're a head coach, you're less of an X's and O program builder and more of a human manager, right? How do you manage these different personalities to maximize
Plus, he was
the
going to get
outcome?
stuck with Bronny.
Yeah, but
Who was that
listen,
guy?
Listen,
That guy's a duck. He's a fat duck.
At the end of the day, I think
Fat
you're
duck.
I think you're overstating that. I think that's a
Who's
minor.
overstating?
I think that's a minor
Of course
aspect
it's
of
not.
the team.
Okay.
You're gonna have Braun for a year, maybe two.
a year.
It-
When Braun leaves,
think,
Bronny leaves.
I think you're. I
Okay.
think you're very
But that's
nearsighted
okay, but
in your
of course.
personal beliefs.
No.
With
no,
your
fact of the matter is-
and your hatred of LeBron James.
No. Time out. So you're gonna tell me that your top star, because he's still top over Anthony Davis, even though Davis should be the top star, LeBron still is the one who carries the water there, carries the weight.
He sells tickets.
Okay,
but-
hold on. So you're gonna tell me after the statement you just made, right, of being people and oriented, that guy LeBron James is not gonna put pressure on the coach to have his kid play after he's put pressure on them to draft him?
Well, let's see if he actually gets drafted by them.
Okay,
We're
Whether
watching
he-
the draft
or
right
they
now.
sign-
It's
well,
still-
he's not going today.
Well, we'll be finding
He
out
is
tomorrow.
not going
tomorrow.
today.
Sure,
If
but that's
he-
wrong. My point is, it's not hasn't
So
happened yet.
again, no, it's not
It's
going
con-
to.
it's
It's not
conje-
going.
it's
It's not going.
conjecture.
It's not going to. It's going to be second round.
No, I'm saying it hasn't
Right.
happened
But
yet.
no-
regardless,
Coach,
like we
but
don't know
Coach-
if that's going to be
Coach,
the case.
he wasn't the best guy on his college team.
Coach, I understand what
So,
I'm
like
saying,
I said,
but it's still a hypothetical. Number
Right.
one and number two. Again, anybody who understands it, like, yeah, I'm gonna deal with this freaking guy for a year, maybe two max. And I'm gonna collect my paycheck, and we're gonna move on and build a program. Like,
I know that you're not saying that. You of all people are not saying that. Because you,
I mean, but that's-
you could not collect your check
but that's
and deal with that situation.
but that's the fact, right?
But
Like,
there's
there's only 32 NBA jobs in the world, right?
Okay.
Like, if that's the open one, that's your opportunity.
The fact
that's
of the matter
But
is,
if I'm getting
reality.
paid, but the
college
money
coach
in college,
turned down the LA Lakers.
correct. So that
That's
tells you a
bad
lot.
state of
That
the
tells you a lot about the
Yeah, but
franchise.
I disagree with that
And
because
the fact that they undercut him with the pay.
Listen,
that's just an embarrassment.
As maybe as a casual fan, you're like, oh wow, that's a bad look. But if you understand sports and you understand the game, like it makes sense that he turned it down because of all the factors. He is the decision maker, the orchestrator, the
but if he's going
everything
to turn
of a
down
college program.
that offer, it is to stay with a 2-time defending team that has a chance to win 3.
Right, so you're
and
making
he's
my
going to
point.
have, and that for the next 5-10 years is probably going to be set up for him.
You're making my point.
And he's a college lifer. He decided it, but I'm telling you, had he been offered a little bit more, he would have tried.
No, and again, I am going to say,
and there's no shame in trying.
I think
and I'm going to say,
I think at the number that they offered him, right at that point, the money was inconsequential in the decision making process.
The caveat. I know that you're going to be the whole LeBron thing. I'm going to say again, if he felt that going to the NBA, okay, and going to the Lakers again, the Lakers is a storied franchise, okay. Going there and being able to put his hands on the blueprint of rebuilding it and making it his own would have really appealed to him. I think being hamstrung, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, whatever years it is, I think really changes his perspective on taking that position and taking that job. You've hired JJ Redick, who was coaching not even a high school team. He was coaching a park rec league team.
Right. Understood.
So,
but
again,
the key difference there, right?
Is that he'll do whatever LeBron tells him.
No, I don't think that's the case either. I think what you have there is someone who was in an NBA locker room for 15 years, who understands that dynamic. Whereas you're talking about Hurley, who, if you look at him on the sideline when he's coaching UConn, the guy doesn't stop. His hands are always moving. He is a maniac on the sideline of the court, right? On the line. You can't do that in the NBA. It's literally contradictory to what his coaching style is.
I mean, I don't agree with that because I don't see anything wrong with a coach being into the game. And there are 2 or 3 coaches that are into the game.
I get it.
So, like I said, I do think it says a lot about the franchise, the position they're in, where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a rebuild for sure.
That Hurley turned them down. He snubbed them. And they settled on JJ Redick. JJ Redick was the bridesmaid. Plain and simple.
JJ Redick was the first front runner before Hurley even came into the picture.
That was the name they threw out. That was the name they were talking about. Why? And why was that? Why was that?
Again,
because they never thought Hurley would be available.
I'm not discrediting
the
fact
why was that?
I'm not discrediting the fact that he's LeBron's guy.
There you go. That's why the name came out.
But that actually might work to his advantage because he can do the Jedi mind tricks on the guy.
I don't. So you hope. So you think. Again,
we don't know. Again, it's conjecture.
But that's the reason he was the front runner.
If
was because of the relationship with LeBron.
If at the moment that they got rid of Ham, Hurley was in talks, Hurley would have been the number 1 guy. He wasn't in talks. When they finally found out this guy's available, immediately they went, "Hey, we're flying you out." He was
willing to listen.
Yeah, because if they
I don't think he was willing to listen.
I think you could get JJ Redick at any time. Why did it take so long?
I don't think Hurley was the one that was like, "Hey, I'm interested."
No.
They pursued him.
Right? No, they called his agent,
and
the guy said, "He'll listen."
Yeah,
he has no problem. It's the Lakers. I'll listen.
And why would you not listen?
Of course, he'll listen.
But I think that's
a chance.
I think that's the case.
They take a chance thinking they're going to get egg on their face. They think they're the Lakers. They're going to get this guy.
I think that's the case in any professional sports job.
I think the ownership and the GM is what makes the franchise look bad.
Like, again, going back.
He doesn't want to be with that because, like I said, I think LeBron is a year and he's gone. He's going to retire. I just think if he does play with Bronny, he wants to play 1 year with the kid.
He's mentioned playing with his other son too, so who knows?
He's done. He's going to be done and do whatever he wants to do with all the money he's got.
Right.
He's going to buy teams, whatever. The thing is, I think even after that year, once LeBron leaves, I don't think this guy wants to be with that ownership and that GM. I just think it's not the days of the old man bus.
Right.
The kids have ruined it.
No, again,
and
if like I said,
I don't think the GM's done anything.
If he could have his blueprint on how to build a team, then again, he would have taken the money, like you said, because I do agree with you, Frankie, as far as the money.
I think if the ownership and he got that, he would have been able to do it. There was
plenty of money on the table. But his inability to mold and do what he wanted to do, I think again.
But he would have to take a step back in any professional franchise when it comes to that.
Not necessarily.
I mean,
he could go to a team that doesn't win and
you would
and
have
will do
to
anything.
you would have to have an extremely young team.
Like if he was the Washington Wizards coach, they'd give him everything.
It would have to be a very young,
who are you, Washington?
Impressionable team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, for example, like a team like
not
that.
Because their GM is awesome, always getting the right guys, getting rid of the guys at the right time.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day,
it is
the only team who would have left is probably the Lakers. He didn't, and he's going to be a lifer.
It's a hard jump to make from a career college coach to professional or to the league. In any case, but what makes it even harder is when you have a mature team, right? And an experienced and old team where, like you said, your imprint means that much less because those guys are already set in their ways. You're not changing much there.
All right. Like I said, again.
Whereas you had like a Steve Kerr with a young Golden State team.
And even
different
roster
story.
building, even building the roster.
Mark Jackson built that up nice for him.
I understood.
He came in nicely right there.
Building the roster, I think, again, a coach wants to have some type of conversation.
Yeah,
a coach wants to be able to say, let's get this, let's get that. Even McDaniels. All the coaches want to be able to have a good relationship and conversation with their GM.
Right, but what I was mentioning or alluding to is that Bill Parcells, if you're going to cook dinner, you need to let me buy the groceries. Like, his little.
Sometimes it works for some teams and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's all about the type of character.
But and again, to my greater point, right? Again, going back to the football analogy, is there's only 32 teams, right? If the for years, right, Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns, right, worst teams in the NFL for so many years, those jobs are open. They're going to get filled because there's only 32 of those in the world. Same concept with the NBA, right? But again, he was going to listen. I think he was going to listen to any team. Money was inconsequential there. And like you said, it has to do with the coaching style and his imprint.
But now at the end of the day, JJ is the coach. So I personally believe he will succeed because I think he has a good mind for the game. It's going to be a rough couple of years to start out, but I think he has the ability. His
experience as a former player in locker rooms, understanding how players work is a factor here, 100%.
Also the fact he went to Duke, he learned under one of the best. He played under one of the best ever to do it. So I just think he's going to have it. The first year is going to be...
It's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough, and it's going to be marred with exactly what Gil says. Like, he's going to be the puppet of LeBron because it looks that way, right? You do a podcast with the guy, and now he's your coach. I believe personally they've known each other for a long time. They have a relationship, and I think LeBron will respect him enough that they'll be able to, he'll give him the ability to coach him.
And I, on that respect,
and again,
but I think JJ will look at him and go, "You have vast knowledge too. You can chime in too." At the end of the day, LeBron is a very knowledgeable basketball player.
But to that point with JJ, I'm not going to sell that guy short because if anything, that guy has shown over the course of his career, college, NBA, that he has a sack on him. Like he ain't gonna. I don't think he's stepping. Back to nobody.
Again,
well, he made it clear at the press conference. He let out a few words there that
some choice words,
which is not which they say coaches shouldn't.
It was frowned upon because it was a wrong place to do that.
I think not the best place to do it, but secretly I'm like, you tell him
he won the press conference.
You tell him.
I don't know if he won the press conference.
Nice.
I do. I want to know. I want to see if he'll talk like that to LeBron.
I think it's going to be a Ty Lue situation where Ty Lue wasn't afraid to step to LeBron.
I want to see. I want to see how that. I want to see how that pans out because I do think. How
does he have to speak to him though? Does he have to be in that fashion?
There's certain. I do think that there's certain times
that LeBron needs to be told in a harsh way.
I do think that sometimes LeBron oversteps his
always.
His authority.
But every great player
I don't think anybody who's a veteran with that kind of stature. You don't really need to talk in that form. You just have to have that respect of, look, I'm telling you something, and you know where I'm coming from because I have the knowledge that you have. And I'm saying I think he's going to respect him, and I think the Ty Lue situation is a credible. Because what did he have before that? Didn't he have Blatt right before
David Blatt.
Ty Lue?
Yeah.
And yes, that guy won championships, but he didn't respect him. Unfortunately, you gotta have the guy's respect.
Again,
I think he respects Redick, I think, in the same way he looks at Lue.
we shall see. We'll see how many.
The thing is, he had a better team with Cleveland for Ty Lue to succeed with.
Oh, for
the
sure.
Lakers are terrible.
For sure.
And when
And
you
they're
said
in a
Anthony Davis
gauntlet.
should be the leader, the guy's not there half the time because he's hurt, and half the time when he is there, he doesn't show up.
I get it. I'm not an Anthony Davis guy.
He's an underachieving guy that should have won titles and MVPs.
I'm not an Anthony Davis guy.
I wish he would be better.
Again, I'm not.
LeBron's
I'm not
like, look, bro, I wanted you to be the number one guy, and you're never here. I got to take over.
I agree with that because I'm not an AD guy. I think like you said, he doesn't prepare. He's
to
very
Mario's
flimsy.
point, to Grizz's point.
So-
like LeBron was expecting AD
LeBron was
to
very
be
pleased with, hey, you be the man.
Correct.
I'm going to be the best two ever.
LeBron wasn't expecting to be in this position at this stage of his career.
He was going to pull the D-Wade card with AD. Like, look, bro, you're the man now. Look, I'll step back and let you do your thing. Because
we'll see. Because I think there were times.
I mean, LeBron has said
there
that
were
though.
times, but
You said that multiple
But he
times.
says it and doesn't do it though.
Because
he doesn't have a choice.
Because
That's not
Anthony
true.
Davis doesn't do it for him.
That's not true. There's been times when Anthony Davis this season had a good season, played most of the year, and there were times where he dictated what they were doing. Even though they were trying to go through Anthony Davis, LeBron wanted to dictate what they were doing.
Unfortunately, and again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. But
unfortunately, a point.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately,
He's gonna be the one
LeBron
with
has
the
had
ball.
to handle the ball because they had the freaking,
Bro, the rest of their team.
the inconsistency of D'Angelo Russell there eating a hot dog on the.
And that's fine.
Look,
he can handle a ball, but then he's got to go through AD.
They lose players like Caruso, like from a couple years ago,
That
who
was stupid.
also in the last couple of days just got traded to Oklahoma City,
KCP.
which is huge.
KCP, another one. Contavious
Oklahoma
Caldwell-Pope.
City, look out for them, baby, next year. They just improved big with that guy.
But they traded Contavious Caldwell-Pope, which is another like that core that they won the championship with. They traded them away to try to get Russell Westbrook, and that completely backfired.
COVID and bubble.
Yeah, come on, everybody was playing in the same situation, man. Ugh, he's such a hater. Guy is such a hater. All right, we're at segue. Moving on to other events. Anybody know anything about Copa America and Euro?
Well, I do know that Argentina barely won last night. 1-0.
Grizz, you got anything?
Today, Portugal got upended, even though they didn't need the game. But they ended up getting upended by Georgia.
Played in Hard Rock Stadium the other day, right?
They did.
Nice.
Cool. Anything else?
They did. No, I mean, it is interesting just because you got
I barely
Germany
know anything
in there.
about soccer, and I hit a couple bets on them. That's all I can tell you.
Nice.
The good thing is this is like a precursor
usually the good
to
teams
the World
win.
Cup.
It's easier in soccer to pick people.
It is a precursor to the World Cup, so it's nice to see these teams play together.
Oh, the Euros are very exciting. I do watch a little bit more. I mean, I don't watch that much of soccer, but I do focus more on the Euros because you got people like Cristiano Ronaldo, bro, one of the best. Portugal's always in it because of him. I love all the, Germany, Italy, all those countries back and forth over the years.
The men's team, the United States men's team seems to be the strongest that we've had.
That's also
They
good.
played pretty good the other day. Yeah. We'll see how their next game is. I think they play Peru
Brazil
next.
hasn't looked sharp. And I think not having Neymar hurts.
So
he was busy. He was busy killing it in the poker scene this weekend while his team was playing.
Correct.
So
well, he got suspended. The coach suspended him.
Yeah, but he also
he missed something and he suspended him.
He's coming off the ACL still.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things that you do see, right, when you have the Euro Cup and the Copa America going on at the same time is a difference in styles, right? And they were talking about this recently. When the South American teams are levels, like they are way more naturally talented, but the structure that you see from the European teams will always, win out because
South America is more of the flair and more of the free flow.
Well, no, because it's not structured the same way.
Right.
In Europe, you have these clubs that these kids start playing in at 5 years old.
In Europe, they feel like machines. It feels like robotics.
Correct.
I'm saying I remember from being a little kid, people would be mad when Brazil won every game because they wouldn't be flary enough. They wouldn't put on a show, even though they win 2-3 goal leads in the biggest of games. Oh, you should have put on a show. I'm just saying the Latin Americans
they seem to play faster. The Latin American game,
it's a more passionate game.
It's more street ball.
It's a little, exactly. And that's what I was going to say.
I'm saying, free flowing on your own.
It's a little bit looser. Whereas
call your own shots on
the European game is more set, more structured, more technical, if you would have it. And they are more technical.
Well, that goes for everything. Like when you see basketball, that's why the French are taking over.
When you see South American teams like Argentina and things like that, you see the flair, the athleticism is a little bit more pronounced. That's why when you see a European team that has a good athlete like Mbappe and things like that, all of a sudden that team becomes really, really good because they have that structure, but then they add that flair of a good player.
And what did we get from the last World Cup? One of the best finals ever between Argentina, the South American team, versus a European team.
So
that was the perfect melding of the two.
And for the casual soccer fans, what people don't realize is like the top players in South America, right? A lot of Brazilians and stuff. They grow up playing street ball before they become professional players, right? Like there's not that structure that they grow up into. And the best players from South America actually get plucked at a young age.
Yeah, they go to Europe
and go and play in those clubs. Messi has been in Spain since he was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know,
like
so
we, us being Americans don't realize that that's the NFL over there.
Correct.
You know, that's where the NBA. That's where you send your top soccer players are best American guys. Get thrown out there.
They're groomed from 5 years old.
Yeah, well, that's the difference because you could do that at 5 years old. You're not going to worry about concussions and stuff like that when you're a 5-year-old.
They create their farm system.
Unless you get that fake spray going on.
Very young and again,
they invented flopping. We get to admit that.
The way that they do that is super interesting. That they create those smaller, younger leagues, for those guys to play and get overseen by the team.
But it's amazing when you
Barcelona,
see. I didn't notice that.
Like Real Madrid, Barcelona.
But look at when you
they have a 5U, a 6U, a 7U, an 8U.
But I've never, like when I start looking, at the greats, I start looking at their Wikipedia and seeing where they played their clubs, and you're like, they played for the national team that was the under 18, the under 21, the under this. I'm like, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
So like when you start getting to that, like, hey, we make the main team. You know what you're talking about. It's a legit player.
No, you're good.
No, and the appreciation, I think, over the last, 15 years, in this country, finally, embracing soccer. Like once I started having friends of mine talking about, hey, we're watching EPL games at 9 a.m. on like NBC Sports once. Because remember, as always, everything needs to, hey, can I see it? Because if it's not on mainstream, why did we not like hockey? We've talked about this. Because it was on, on like Versus or on things that you couldn't find.
TSN.
But now it's on ESPN. It's in your face. And you have people talking about it. So soccer's been like that now where people watch it.
I think it's a little bit more intricate too. Yeah. I think with the turnover in American sports, right, with the spotlight on the injuries with football, right, you see that there's more of the population shift.
I get it, but there were injuries before and
understood.
Put your kid in soccer.
But
no, it's boring.
Right, but
that's always the thing.
But it's now in the forefront of society's mind where I'm not going to put my kid at, to play football at 5 years old.
Correct.
Right? They're going to go play soccer.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it when they get older.
Again, but still, can we teach you to be great in this country? We need that.
But Grizz, that's the point.
But you know what?
We need them to be.
But with that being said, those teams are creating teams here.
That's good.
They're doing that here. They're creating a farm system here of that type.
And now you're seeing like every couple of decades, you see the old great player come and finish his career here in some U.S. Like Messi, how he's finishing out. Here. But it's actually working, I think, this time.
He's like the fourth guy, though, because
Beckham did it.
Beckham came over.
But I feel like, it was, I think Messi's really like hitting a home run here.
But the problem is because Messi's just such an...
Because what
else does he have to... does he have to achieve?
But
remember, he could have gone and made like a ton of money with the Arabs. So
he's such an aberration of a player. Because he's 37, but he plays like he's 29.
Yeah.
Because if you watch him,
I was pretty sure he wasn't going to play anymore after winning the World Cup. That guy's going to play in the World Cup again.
Yeah.
You can't get this out of their blood.
Part of it is because he's a little guy.
He's still good, man. He still dominates the game.
Yeah.
Like even last night, you
When
see
you're
him in the
just-
touches, and he just has such a great control of the ball, and he still runs at a good pace. Where the
guy
other
was
guys
given
have
a
gotten
gift,
hurt,
man.
the other guys have gotten hurt. They had like Beck, all those other guys have gotten hurt, and they slowed
Exactly.
down. So they came here and they were slow.
Yeah, that's what I'm
This
saying.
guy
This
is
guy,
still fast.
it's working out
and he's
because.
exciting to watch.
But I'm
him.
saying it's not a novelty. It's,
No.
He's actually really good still,
Right.
and he's producing and
Correct.
making a team that wasn't good or and you even know
Well, no,
existed.
but they've brought over 3 or 4 other guys
Well,
that have
yeah.
helped them out. So that
also helps.
That also helps.
Messi,
But even if it was by himself, he would have improved his team.
Oh, yeah.
By himself.
Messi at 75-80% is still probably better than anybody else in the MLS.
But it's not just MLS, like I was alluding to. If you see him playing last night, he is still a very viable
Yeah.
and competitive
On the
player at
world
that
stage.
level. At that level, he can play. Now, granted, can he play in Europe where it's a grind? Probably not. His
That's
body
probably
wears
why-
down.
that's why he made that
can't
move.
make it.
It's also
different.
it's also part of like his actual physical body makeup. If you look at the some of the greats, right, the bigger stature players, right, the Beckhams, the Cristiano Ronaldo, they're bigger, taller guys, right? Their bodies are more prone to injury. Messi's 5'7". Guy's compact. You're like, there's not much. There's less muscle pulls there. Or, that plays a factor.
Well, correct, but again, age also plays a
Oh,
factor.
1,000%.
So he's avoided a lot of that, even though as he gets older, and he hasn't gotten banged up. So I mean, we're talking about a guy that's going to play soccer until he's 40 years old.
Yeah.
Competitively, like good,
Yeah.
and that's what really impresses me with him.
So 2 closing thoughts on this to kind of circle back what Grizz, what you were talking about America and how we kind of haven't been able to get to that next level. And it's because traditionally in Europe and other countries, your top of the top, your elite athletes are going to play soccer. Our elite athletes grow up wanting to play basketball, football, baseball, right? So soccer gets the second tier, right? Only now is when we're starting to see that young talent.
In the last 40 years, I would say since about 1990, 90 is when all of a sudden we've really made a transition towards soccer.
Right.
Because again, Pelé played in the 70s and brought excitement to it because of his flair,
Is it
the
the
way
Comets?
he played.
Is that what it was?
The way he played. Pelé was exceptional. Then we had the cocaine sniffer, who was also an excellent soccer player for Argentina. He was phenomenal.
I mean,
He was just juiced up, and
I mean, just
it killed
taking
him.
bumps after goals. That's
I'm
just
just saying it killed him. But again, his flair brought, and
Maradona.
again, in America, you need to have that. Because in football,
Appeal.
you're looking for the bomb in football, the 3-pointer, the dunk. We
do not like the 0-0 ties.
correct, the back and
We
forth
just
with
don't.
nothing. Right? So that is now, all of a sudden now, over the last 30 years, we've been able to move in that direction, and we have been more soccer.
and interestingly enough, it was probably the onset of that accelerated that was the women's national team, right?
Being good.
Oh, they
The
were
World
good
Cup.
from the
Being good.
start.
in
Being good.
99.
And again, like Grizz said, the whole move of TV and things
Right.
like that, and being able
The
to
coverage.
watch
The
games.
coverage.
Correct.
Now more than ever, obviously, we have a bigger population. There's just more people out there, and more people have choices. And there are a lot of athletes that are being spread out to a lot of different sports. I just think definitely soccer, you would think it's so easy. It's just a ball. Go out there and kick it. You really don't have to do anything else other than that. So it should be something that people would, once again, the added the flair is important because I didn't want to play soccer growing up. I don't want to just kick a ball. I wanted to score a touchdown. I want to shoot a basket and score some. We like points. We see numbers. We don't want to see 1-0s. But if you're going to give me a 1 or 2-0 game and it's a guy like Messi, at least I know 1 or 2 times during the game I'm going to see some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch Iowa football.
No. Oh, imagine just a league of Iowa football. Amazingly terrible.
Jesus.
So that's what we have,
Yeah, closing thought on this, right? There's been a movement. People have been like, hey, let's get the Copa America winner and the Euro Cup winner to play a match. That would be dope.
Again, it's
It's called the World Cup.
Yeah, I know.
that's it.
But it would be a nice little precursor is what I'm saying.
But then it would make the World Cup. Why are we waiting 4 years? Just
Yeah,
do it
well,
every year.
again, you don't
Just
know.
leave it as is, man. It's bad enough that now they're like, making it 48 teams and everybody's got to be involved, Like, I like
College
the fact,
basketball now they're going
yeah,
to bring
all-
71.
you got to
79.
love the fact that the World Cup You got to wait 4 years, man. This is really important. It's the Olympics. It's like, hey, and at least every couple of years we sprinkle in.
Yeah, you get the COPA America, you get the Euro Cup.
You want to win your continent in your little area?
That's
Cool.
it.
But the World Cup. So we'll leave the World Cup. Remember, there's plenty of friendlies. We play friendlies all the time. That's another thing. Americans are like, what is this friendly stuff? You know, who's playing friendlies? Oh, they're just preseason games randomly throughout the year.
They don't count. They don't
like, we don't catch up to most of that.
We're still trying to wrap our head around it.
You know, like, so it's going to be, and the best thing is, the World Cup's here in North America in 2 years, and it's going to be the perfect timing. Hopefully, America does well in it, and that right there could be the absolute
catalyst,
nuclear bomb that sets it off. Who knows?
The catalyst.
You know, maybe the LeBron James are playing soccer 20 years from now. You know, Bronny's kids or something.
We'll see.
The fat boy.
Hard segment, hard segue, right? From a game of finesse to a sport of physical will. UFC. Coach, talk to me.
We've got some good fights this weekend, some real good ones. I have one that I'm really, really torn on. I think it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega.
Oh, yeah, I like Ortega.
Ortega's had a few. Again, he was going up and rising, but he's had some tough defeats. And this Diego Lopez kid is good. This is going to be a really hard-fought battle. This Diego Lopez situation is going to be tough. So we'll see how that works out. We got Alex Pereira fighting Hiri Prochazka. That's going to be another slobber knocker of a fight.
That's going to be a fun one.
That, again,
I love the way Pereira fights.
Those two guys are going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a really, really good fight. And, again, it's a good card. You got the everlasting Andrei Arlovsky fighting. That guy, he's about 40 and still out here. He's the Messi of UFC. But we'll see how it works out for him. That should be another good fight. It's either knockout or get knocked out for him. But again, it's a good card. It's a good card, solid card. Yes.
I wanted to just bring up, I don't think since we last taped, McGregor getting out of the fight.
His broken toe.
What are your thoughts? You think it's over for this guy? You think we're done?
That's so annoying.
That's such a hard.
So annoying.
Because he makes so much money outside the ring. Yeah. I really thought
you saw the article about how money has changed him. And I think it's going to be. I think it changed him big time.
I think it changes everybody. Man.
Well, obviously, but him especially because.
I
don't know if you saw the movie Roadhouse.
No,
the walk. You talk about a fat duck. Man walked like exactly a fat duck.
He looks like a cinder block.
The walk of that man was just give him the Oscar.
No neck.
Give him the Oscar for that walk. It is priceless. I couldn't take anything seriously, and then I'm looking at the walk. I'm like, this guy's amazing. He's made for this.
I want to know.
So again, maybe
the steroids, man. He's got to lay.
I want to know the cocktail of Tremboloni sandwiches.
To do, I don't know, acting.
He's terrible at acting,
whatever.
But he's perfect for that walk in a movie. If he wants to just be the guy that walks like that, fantastic.
I just think that when you get to a certain level,
I think it's a shame though because he was a great fighter.
When you get to a certain level and make so much money, you lose the hunger.
Why is he going to go in there and beat his brains out?
To get hurt, correct.
He's already broke his legs.
He broke his leg.
Little toe.
He's got three. He's got three kids.
It's a family.
But doesn't he want to just kick everybody's ass? He always wants to kick everybody's ass.
Yeah, that's what he says.
That's what he says.
He's got proper 21. Proper 21 is doing well.
Listen.
So he also had. Listen, remember, don't forget
he's not properly telling the truth.
Don't forget that when he signed his last contract, he got a piece of the UFC. So that's
he made $100 million. Yeah.
No, but that's putting money in his pocket. The UFC is putting money in his pocket without him fighting.
I mean, he's part of the reason why the UFC where it's at right now.
That's why, and he did it in his heyday. When he was pulling in all the viewers, he said, this is what I want. I want a piece of the action. I want to sign, but I want a piece of the action.
Yeah, he's out of it.
So,
he's thinking
again,
business
I
all
don't
day,
think that
every day.
I think, again, Chandler's much hungrier than he is, has a point to prove. Anybody that fights McGregor has a point to prove. So we need to see how that goes, and I just don't think that he'll be there. I just don't think that he's got the intestinal fortitude and the desire to go out there again. And that's my take on Conor. Loved him, made some money on him, excellent guy, but
Nice little segment here. It should be fun. I mean, yeah, it is a bummer that we're not going to see him in the next big UFC event. But
I mean, you may see him, but he's not going to fight a Chandler. He's not going to fight somebody that can really destroy him.
Heard. All right. I think
Look,
that
even you got a guy like Diamond Poirier that's ready to go.
Yeah, he's
ready to hang it up.
He's shot
it's
at this
tough,
point.
Man. It's just tough.
It's a grind, man. It's a grind. And if that, once you've made your money, right, and you're set, that hunger, like you said.
It's not just that for him. It's just he's getting up in age, and he's just.
It's harder to train and get back there.
The guys that are there are just too tough for him, man.
That's always been a nasty, like one of the nastiest divisions to have to fight in.
Correct.
Right? It's a gauntlet, and that's why, most of the great fighters only last so long in that division, right? They usually move up after, a certain point. But again, yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen, UFC has been amazing this year, and we expect nothing.
It's amazing every year.
Yes, sir. So I think that does it for this segment. It was a nice little survey around the sports world here as we kind of get into that summer lull. And we got a little surprise for you in the last segment. Mr. Coach Emeritus here's got his first little deep dive sprinkle to close out the show. So we'll be right back with that. And now, back by popular demand, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's been a minute. The deep dive. Make it happen, Coach.
All right, I'm going to give out a couple of just really value bets that I've taken over the last few weeks. I'm going to give out about 3 or 4 of them. As a shocker to everybody, but I like the odds. I'm taking Ole Miss to win the SEC.
Interesting. I like where your head's at. Very interesting.
I think Kiffin's done a great job recruiting. I think he's done a great job with the portal. His quarterback comes back. The defense. I think it's them in Georgia. I really do think it's them in Georgia.
Against Nick Saban anymore?
No, but I think it's them in Georgia. I think that, and Georgia doesn't give you any value. Georgia's always a favorite. It doesn't give you any payout. So again, I like that. I like them to win it. I'm gonna go against the Grizz, and I'm taking the Jets to win the East. Taking the Jets to win the AFC East.
Listen, again, I like both picks so far.
Well, he's never always right, so that's the beauty of gambling.
I'm gonna give you 2 more as far as futures are, and then I'm gonna give you 1 more, and I'll give you a pick for week 1 in the NFL. I like Nebraska over 7.5 wins. I think Matt Rule is putting a stamp on that team. I think they're going to
turns the corner.
I think they're going to be physical enough to win 8 games. 7.5, I think, is a good deal out of 13 that they play. They can go 8-5. You hit your stride. And I'm going to give out. I mean, I was going to give out 1, but I'm going to give out the other one because I'm going to give this one out because it's still at 3.5. Even though I don't like what the quarterback's wife did last week or the week before coming out. Talking about dating.
God.
And doing the backup just to make the guy jealous.
I would choke my wife.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford plus 3.5 against Detroit in week 1.
How in her right mind did she think that was okay to say on the what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I wanted to go out. I wanted to make him jealous, so I dated his backup, and I slept over a couple times. That sounds great, honey. Thank you. I love you. I'm so glad I got you. I got 4 kids with you.
I'm pretty sure he knew that.
I'm sure he did, but nobody else needs to.
Right. We don't need to spread it.
The rest of us don't need to know.
We don't need to spread it.
There's no way that he approved her talking about that.
It wasn't an approved message? Like the politics.
Maybe
I'm
he
Joe
doesn't
Biden.
care.
I'm Donald Trump. I approve this message. It wasn't one of those.
I'm kicking her right in the private parts when she walks in. I'm changing the locks.
Dude, let me tell you. I mean, I'm hoping that it was early enough that he can get his head back together, and we can play the Detroit Lions stuff.
Where's that game at?
It's at Detroit. It's in Detroit, but
so we're getting a little rematch of the playoffs.
It's a 3.5 point deal. I like the hook. I like the hook a lot.
Always the hook.
I think Detroit is a super, super popular team. I think everybody and their mother is going to take Detroit in every game next year.
America's new team.
I mean,
America's new team.
They earned it.
I like the Rams. Listen, yes, I get it. But again, I think the Rams are loaded for next year. The Rams have some good ball players. Their defense is going to be good. Their offense is going to score points. And they should have
won the game against Detroit.
So 3.5 to me is, I mean, again, if it's a 1.5 point, a pick 'em, anything under 2, I could understand. When you're talking over 3.5 in the NFL, that's some serious points.
Right.
And again, so I like the Rams in that situation.
You got anything else?
So that's it. That's all we're gonna get for right now.
That's good stuff. I'm excited. I like
we'll
it.
Some other stuff later on as we get closer.
I listen. All solid picks. Like, you know, usually he's got like 1 or 2 in there that make me throw up in my mouth.
I can tell you one for sure that's not going to make it. But other than that,
listen, you don't.
It's gonna be exciting, boys.
Don't put the kibosh.
It's gonna be exciting, boys.
Like I said,
it's gonna be exciting.
Luckily, he's great at what he does. He's always over 50. I think the man knows his thing. But guess what? There is a loss percentage too. So we're gonna slide that. We're gonna slide that one in the loss. And hey, 3 out of 4.
Listen,
still fucking great.
It's all about payout and value, guys. Don't forget, it's always about payouts and value.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the payout is when week 4 comes when Rodgers is out.
That's all right. Well, hey, listen, that's a chance you got to take. They've revamped their offensive line. Their defense.
I'm saying it should last longer than 4 plays.
Their defense is excellent.
4 games,
and they got a good running game. So I don't think that Rodgers is going to be the focal point of the offense.
You know what the best part
Let's
about
see how they
this
start
is?
out with the Niners.
You know what the best part
Let's
about
hope
this?
that defense doesn't eliminate him from the season.
I almost like them plus 5.5 against the Niners.
The best part about this show and what we do here is that it is all on the record, baby. So we're gonna find out eventually, and it's gonna be fun.
All right, right now we're gonna. I'm gonna have to start something new. Then we're gonna have one pick from the Grizz. It's called Fade the Grizz. Whatever I say, just go against it.
There it is. It's on the record. It'll be the segment, and we'll post it. Right. Again, like I said, we're in the process.
Dolphins win.
We're in the process of doing
division.
some fun things here. Like those things
So
will
you
be
gotta
up.
fade me. It's gonna work. Dolphins win the division.
There it is.
You heard it here first.
Here we go. Oh God, this is gonna be fun.
Can you put it in a parlay? If you put it in a parlay, I feel better.
Nope.
You know?
Nope.
In a parlay,
Can't do it.
I know there's always
Won't do
one.
it.
I know there's always one that's gonna get screwed up. So I figure
you know what the good thing about the straight up? It's gonna be 1 over 1. That's how that works.
God, and it's only gonna get worse as we get closer.
Only worse.
Gentlemen,
that's the only way to go, baby.
I think that does it for us today. Okay, it's been fun coming back. We're looking forward to a great summer, right? Looking forward to building again, like always. Share, follow, like, give us your feedback, social media, right? Follow our website. We're building, and it's going to be fun. But with your feedback, we'll be able to, really refine what we're doing right now. Thank you to all our listeners. I appreciate it, gentlemen. You got anything to say?
Just keep downloading us and keep on give us feedback.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Let me know. Let us know. We suck. We're good. Whatever. I'm good with that. We're all good with that.
If you want to join in on the banter, you can go ahead and text us, right, via the link in our show descriptions. Text us will come. Go right to our phones. And you know what? Maybe we have you on and have some fun with it. All right. And YouTube coming soon. So it's going to be a fun summer. Gentlemen, much love. 2 coaches, 1 Grizz. Out.